Episode 56, I Was a Pageant Girl. Carly helps Sam take part in this beauty pageant. Firstly, I should mention that the beginning of the episode is just really awful. There's this point where Spencer's fit a lot of salsa or something, and it's just really gross. But anyway, one cool thing about this episode is that the one dude who's a part of Sam's act is played none other by Lane Napper, the same guy who plays Lane Alexander in Victorious. Kind of makes sense too because iCarly's season 3 must have started around the time Victorious season 1 started, and that's pretty cool. Alright, that's all the positives. This episode sucks. No, I'm just kidding. This episode actually ain't half bad. It's not the absolute best episode. There are some corny jokes, like the fake boobs joke in the middle of it, but the comedy is fairly alright. There's some nice spectacle with the climax and also the subplot. You know, for now, I'm just going to say the other plot, or plot B, or the side plot, because subplot gets tired. With Freddie and Spencer is really funny. Basically, these two are with these two cute girls, their age I should add, and they're playing a Guess Who game as they went to go rock climbing. A little off topic, but I think the girl Freddie's with is kind of cute, but that may be because I'm a sucker for redhead girls, but never mind. Alright, anyway, I will admit this episode was really close to meh, because really it's rather standard, and the episode isn't that much of a joy to watch, if I'm being honest, but it's still a good episode. Episode 57, IENRAGE GIBBY. Gibby is irate after he catches Freddie and his girlfriend Tasha making out. Or did they? No, not really. Freddie was catching her from a fall, and Gibby assumed they made out. Fun fact, I used to be, afraid of this episode or something. I don't know why. When I was younger, I was really scared of everything. From Drake's squinting eyes in the pilot episode of Drake and Josh, and me thinking that there was going to be some scary fight or something in this episode. Even dumb stuff to be scared of. I used to be afraid of seeing the BTR episode, Big Time Girlfriends, because I was afraid of James and Logan fighting. Oh, God, I got issues. But anyway, I've seen this episode live, and I can say there's nothing really to be worried about. No, instead of being scared, I got puzzled, to put it nicely. This episode, oh my God. Honestly, it's very similar to iPie in many ways, in which everything I like about it, there's something within it that makes me frustrated. It's funny how Gibby being raging bold towards Freddie, while Freddie being so misunderstood in the process. But good God, I hate how Sam keeps enabling him. I get it, it's played for laughs, but seeing Freddie torture here it just gets old really fast. Yes, because Freddie is
a bit special.
He has to have the odds against him. It's just obnoxious. Thankfully, they don't end up fighting at the end, but my point still stands. The subplot with Spencer supposedly being dead and leveraging off the fact that dead artists/celebrities get more respect and give more money is an interesting one. But geez, the way that Carly and Sam try to join in with this one scene with the rich guy is just so out of character and so corny. Speaking of that, real quick, there's some things in that episode that I just outright dislike. I don't know why, but I feel like Carly is just really flanderized here. She's mostly same as usual, but moments like her wanting to extract money to her making jokes towards Freddie, which is the reason why Gibby's angry at him to begin with. It's I don't know why she seems more passive-aggressive or something in this episode, but it's just really annoying. I hate it. However, on the other hand, the episode is decently funny, I guess. I'm not a fan of Carly being out of character, but I will admit it's a bit funny when she's like, "You killed my brother." While I don't think it's really right for them to make fun of Tasha for liking Gibby, I do find it hilarious on its own. Overall, this episode is meh. I usually don't give meh episodes that much of a bashing, but this is something else. Episode 58, I Space Out. The iCarly trio head up to space! Okay, not really. They're in some simulation of a spacecraft, and they're there, and they're about to be there for a certain amount of time in order to be approved to actually be up in space. This episode is just tragic to me. Why? Because the episode has a really funny and good first half, and a genuinely abysmal second half. The first half actually has a pretty good setup. Some rich guy challenge like Carly and this other web show to see who can do their show in space. This first half has them doing some certain challenges, and it's really amusing. There's some good slapstick here, I'll admit. Plus, I like this whole Spencer plot where he's going insane as his little girl is running around his whole apartment driving him insane. However, the second half is absolutely awful. Basically, when it comes down to it, Carly, Sam, and Freddie stuck in a pod, and there are two things that ruin this episode for me. Firstly, Sam is so freaking abusive to Freddie. I can't stand it. Yes, because Freddie is
a bit special.
He has to face this abuse. Secondly, Carly's whole tantrum towards the end is absolutely ridiculous and so out of character. What is up with these two episodes, this one and the last one, thinking that her being out of character is stimulating? God. Yes, I get it. She's claustrophobic, and her being out of character and going bonkers is the joke. But why? I don't even understand the joke. Why would she get on Sam and Freddie about going nuts? But she does it later. Anyway, because of that, and just because of the terrible second half, really bringing down this episode, I think it's just a really bad episode. It's a 5, 4, 3, 2 bad episode. Episode 59, I Fix a Pop Star. Pop star Ginger Fox needs the iCarly crew to help her direct a new music video. The plot with Spencer and Gibby's mom is pretty funny, actually. The whole scene with Spencer looking like Carly and Gibby's mom looking like, well, Gibby, is really one of the funniest jokes I've seen on the show, actually. However, they can't salvage the fact that the rest of the episode barely is meaningful, to be honest. Let's get the lesser evils out of the way first. The weird tummy rub thing from I Want to Stay with Spencer is briefly done by Carly, and honestly, I know it's Dan Schneider we're talking about here, where he has a questionable lines, but really, what's the point of this? Is this belly rub thing supposed to be a cool hobby that the Shays do? I mean, honestly, can someone explain this to me? Okay, next, this Ginger Fox character is just so annoying, and I guess that's the point, but it's just not really funny. She's very unlikable, and everyone around her is annoyed with her too, but like I said, PAET. Just because the characters are really annoyed with her doesn't mean I have to be annoyed too. All the heroes in Avatar hated Azula, and the audience was supposed to root against her too, but she had layers so that she can't be totally hateable. God, I digress. The season where she throws a freaking fork at Freddy's shoulder would be probably funny for others, but for me it's just a random scene that already proves my point that she's an unlikable, terrible character. The writing in this episode also isn't amazing or anything either. The Gibby Spencer face joke is great, but everything else isn't that amazing or anything, other than the oh amazingly stupid thing from Sam. I guess the crew dissing Ginger actually doing her performance at the end is pretty alright, I guess, but I'm really stretching it. Overall, it's not a bad episode. It's watchable, but I think it's still a meh episode. Episode 60, I Bloop. Miranda Cosgrove and Jerry Trainer have a hissy fit over who has the most screw-ups, basically. Yeah, there's no real plot to this episode, as it is the first blooper clip show of the Schneiderverse and spoil. As it is the first. Episode 60, I Bloop. Miranda. I can't. Episode 60, I Bloop. Miranda Cosgrove and Jerry trying to have a hissy fit over who has the most screw-ups, basically. Yeah, there's no real plot to this episode, as it is the first blooper clip show of the Schneiderverse, and spoiler alert, it's the only one that's even remotely half decent. I can say this episode is pretty good. I don't really have much to say about this episode. It's not amazing or anything. It's just a decent clip show that has a bunch of bloopers, and, it's relatively funny. This is a pretty good episode. It really is. And what more can you ask for? It's relatively funny and relatively entertaining. Episode 61, I Won't Cancel the Show. Same as in Juvie, so Carly has Spencer to help her out one night with this episode. So you would think that the episode with my least favorite character not there would be pretty good. But nope, this episode kind of sucks, because it's rather bland and forgettable and doesn't really hit with jokes. And then because I already grossed through the entire thing, the episode for some reason just is consistently gross throughout the entire time. The sour milk and Lubert's man purse to Gibby brushing his teeth with mustard to the whole creamed fish thing at the end, it's just freaking gross. There's a lot of what I like to call only at Dan Schneider moments in which there's a lot of feet stuff here, and if you have a fetish, you do you. I'm not going to judge, but don't push it on your work and make it obvious. Like, yes, Tarantino included. Also, otherwise, the episode is just really boring. The comedy doesn't work. The episode's just gross, and everything is just frivolous extra stuff. Definitely one of the worst episodes of the season. And yes, I think it's a 5, 4, 3, 2 bad episode. Episode 62. I Believe in Bigfoot. The iCarly gang go through some forest in which Carly tries to find Bigfoot and tries to find this thing called a beefcoon. Oh, this episode just sucks. 5, 4, 3, 2 bad. This episode literally, and I mean literally, checks the boxes for everything that I needed for a bad iCarly episode. A bland and basic story, check. A lackluster comedy, check. At least 1 or 2 unlikable characters, check. Now we have the template for season 3 bad episodes where Carly is somewhat flanderized, check. We also have the extra benefits of having an incredibly stupid premise. Why on earth should I ever care about an episode in which the main cast tries to look for frickin' Sasquatch? To be fair, even the episode mocks the absurdity of the concept at points, like with how Sam is very passive towards the whole thing, and this dude, Dr. Sidney Van Gerben, is a complete lowlife who's literally dressed in a Bigfoot costume at some point. But overall, the fact that Carly, of all people, who has rather fair intelligence, think that Bigfoot is real speaks volumes. Speaking of that, there are some funny jokes like Spencer having beefcoon.org in the web show, and Dr. Sidney Van Gerben being dressed in a Bigfoot costume to begin with. Even small things like Gibby saying, "You watch your mouth, or I will watch it for you." To this kid named Kyle was really freaking hilarious. There are funny moments, and yeah, this episode is overall funnier than iSPACE Out, even most of the bad season 1 episodes, but it's still lacking. What else can I complain about? Oh yeah, how about the fact that Sam is kind of unlikable here, as usual at this point, but whatever. Lastly, the plot itself is just so basic and boring. Literally nothing happens. They're in some woods for 70% of the time, and I guess it's cool to, see some new scenery, but it's just so generic, and, why should I care about the antics with Bigfoot, these hiker dudes, and, this episode just sucks. In my last rewatch, I was reconsidering my thoughts a little bit, because, I did find a little bit more funny jokes that did land, but it's just too stupid for me. It's just so basic. I just hate it. Ugh. Episode 63, I Psycho. Carly, Sam, and Freddy are trapped in the basement of the psychotic girl named Nora Dershlit. Fun fact, the actress of Nora and the actor of Looper got married a couple years back, so that's something. Jesus Christ, I forgot how terrible this episode is. Yep, this is another 5-4-3-2 episode, and this is a really bad streak, unfortunately. In fact, it's probably the one episode I'm surprised at how much I hated, because I enjoyed it when I first watched it about a decade ago. So let's get the positives out of the way. I do semi-like the whole Spencer and Gibby subplot. It's funny seeing them break things. Even it's funnier knowing it all started through a broken countertop. Also, Gibby literally dying inside over not being at camp is just really funny. However, that's about it when it comes to positives. This episode is just so unfunny, it hurts. I chuckled at a few jokes. Most things are just so annoying and corny, but not in a good or zany way. I also really don't like this Nora Dershowitz character. Yes, I get it that she's lonely and such, and then her having that Carly crew over to a place makes her kind of popular. But, like, does she not realize that her going nuts like this just puts her back in square one? There's some frankly stupid things here. The whole catching a fly bit in the beginning is just so dumb, it's not even funny. When has Carly ever been the type to not kill a fly? Like what? And other things like the whole Freddy trying to kiss Nora through the screen, which amounts to literally nothing. The things like Nora randomly kissing this character that's played by Danielle Monet. What's the freaking point? Overall, I hate this episode. And last but not freaking least, episode 64, I Beat the Heat. The gang are incredibly hot during a heat wave in Seattle, so they use these Norwegian tubes to provide cool air. Does iCarly's season 3 end on a good note?
Nope.
5-4-3-2 bad. Ugh. This episode has always been annoying for me to watch, even when I was younger. There are a few moments like Freddy having to adjust a seat when talking to some girl that he likes, and the "I have angina" line that are pretty funny. Other than that, this episode just freaking sucks. However, the big problem here is that nothing happened. The episode basically amounts to them complaining about the heat in the beginning, and then they find cool air, and more people barge in time. And then more and more people barge in as time goes. And then at the episode, Carly pulls out this quote-unquote unity speech at the end. One thing to note is that Griffin from Idea Bad Boy is back. And yes, I guess if he's in an episode, it has to be terrible. Yes, including the revival too. One little detail I kind of like is despite the fact that Griffin broke up with her, she wasn't down with kissing him when he tried to make a move on her. Most of the jokes aren't funny. Sam is incredibly obnoxious. It's not funny seeing old people help her out. And once again, they're reusing actors from iKiss, so just stop reusing your freaking actors. Even when I was younger and easily impressionable, I still didn't like this episode. And that is every episode of iCarly Season 3 reviewed. Let's check the stats.
10 good episodes, 6 bad episodes, and 2 meh episodes.
So with these stats, I think it's safe to say that iCarly Season 3 is the first good season of iCarly for me. Though honestly not by a huge margin. Really, when making the stats, iCarly Season 3 was so close to getting meh, it's not even funny. The first half of the season is consistently good and offers a lot of really good episodes, but I have no clue why, but the second half just really stumbled. I really did try to not be so analytical when it comes to these shows, but some of these episodes are just so bad. It just sucks that most of them are just in the second half. However, the reason why I believe this episode is still be the best one up to this point, because for the most part, I actually am enjoying myself, quite frankly. The good episodes are actually really good and probably even better than ones in the previous 2 seasons.
Is iCarly Season 3 as good as Drake and Josh Season 2 and 4? No, not really, as those seasons don't have nearly as many bad episodes. But even still, I think iCarly Season 3 is the best season so far and is really solid on its own. Alright, here we are, the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me tell you that this one specifically has been probably the hardest to edit because I want to up the production value a bit. That's why I had all those fancy slides. I just wanted to really not really push the envelope because nothing too complicated, but I just wanted to make something I just wanted this series to start looking more unique compared to other every episodes the other channels do. But this was really hard because I had to make the slides, edit, and this whole editing was probably the worst it's ever been because not the editing itself, but the actual process, because I had to cut down a lot of stuttering, I had to cut down a lot of stupid stuff. Just let me tell you, editing this video, their season 3 of iCarly is probably the hardest. It's funny because it's only 18 episodes compared to 25 in the first season, so But yeah, I'm finally glad I got it done. And another thing too was like I'm really glad to hit like 100 subscribers. I know it's not like a whole ton. It's not like it's like 1,000 or something, but I consider it a milestone because I finally hit the triple digit. Bleh, sorry. I finally hit the triple digits, and I mean, I've been like doing YouTube, like this channel specifically, for like about 6 years now. So it's just finally cool to finally get to this point. And it's just really fun to think about that, like the subscribers started going up like once I did this every episode series. And I've been doing this specific thing since like early 2017. Now I was like in 8th grade then, and now I'm a freshman in college, and here I am with iCarly season 3, or at least now about to be iCarly season 4. Either iCarly season 4 or Victoria season 1. I'm still deciding which one to do. But yeah, it's been a heck of a ride. I mean, at this point, I just want to finish what I started. I said I want to review Dan Schneider shows because like, I don't feel like enough people review them. So I just do it as a hobby. It's like these videos are getting monetized. Sorry for the voice crack. And I just do it for fun. I'm very opinionated, so I like getting my opinion across. And yeah, I'm just reviewing kid shows, but these shows were very important to my childhood. And like I said, I feel like I like getting my opinion across. So here we are, 6 years into this channel, and 5 years, half a decade, still doing like reviews of Dan Schneider shows. It's a long, tedious process to edit these videos and all that, but it's worth it because I just like doing it. I like entertaining, hence my channel name. So yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.